Welcome, everybody, tonight to the CrossFire podcast. We've got some of our usual suspects. Got a new character with us tonight that I think you're going to find to be a very talented up-and-coming YouTuber. And I shouldn't say up-and-coming. He's actually been on YouTube for quite some time. I've been following him for quite some time. And actually, Xbot448, if you haven't subscribed to his YouTube channel, please do so now or after the podcast. The one thing that actually hit me was he wrote me a while ago, and he says, hey, Mooch, if you can get me on the show, I wouldn't mind coming on the show. I said, yeah, let's work something out. But the way life is nowadays, it doesn't matter, even with family sometimes. You're like, oh, yeah, we'll get together. But the one thing I really appreciated, and it reminded me of myself a little bit with BGST, and Crap will tell a very animated story of how I got on there in a moment, I'm sure. But Xbot448 gets a hold of me and says, hey, can we do this? Can we do this? That's what I like to see. That's enthusiasm. That's somebody who has passion and gives a shit. It's the same way that I was just telling Xbot, I basically got on BGST because I was like the American Idol. I won the American Idol of BGST. So that's how I got on. But welcome, buddy. Welcome to the podcast. I've got Crap Gamer, who is he happens to be my Robin Quivers on this show, but I'm his on Wednesday. So we just trade off back and forth, but it's a good chemistry. And then I got my usual suspects. I got Southbound and Down, who's still in West Virginia. So if he bots out a little bit, it doesn't matter. The expertise still comes through. And our man, with 2 feet, our dictionary of video games, Rand, is with us tonight. So you can't get anything past him. He's played everything that you have and probably even your parents have played. All right, let's not waste any more time tonight, people. We've got a great show. And this just happened a moment ago. I already tweeted out to everybody what we'll be discussing tonight. But just moments ago, Crap had an interesting interaction with some of the big YouTubers, and it was discussing over Sony's Let's Play claim. And Crap, why don't you tell everybody what happened about a week or two ago and what just happened again and what seemingly the media hasn't picked up on?
Okay, well, a couple weeks ago, it came to light that Sony filed to trademark the term "Let's Play." Right? A lot of people were like, "Well, it's probably just a slogan. That, let's give Sony the benefit of the doubt. After all, they're Sony. They're for the players, right?" Nobody talked about it, right? I mean, there was a couple people like Red Dragon did it. We did it a little. You know what I'm saying? Nobody really big, like huge YouTubers or anything like that. None of the big sites really ran with it. Then it just came out yesterday that Sony had already refiled for the trademark, and thankfully, this lawyer fought this shit in court. And basically, to kind of reiterate that this isn't just a slogan that they want. This is what they actually filed for a Let's Play for electronic transmission and streaming of video games via global and local computer networks, streaming of audiovisual and audiovisual material via global and local computer networks. Basically, Let's Play as we know it. How many people, millions and millions of people do Let's Plays? Everybody does it, right? Everybody does. I've done some. The biggest PewDiePie. All these people do these Let's Plays, right? So I get pissed off. I cut and paste this thing on Twitter right before we go live, and I'm like, hey, Greg Miller, hey, Angry Joe, hey, Boogie, how come you guys aren't talking about this, right? And then Boogie responds, right? He goes, had they gotten the patent, I would have done a video on it. And I responded, that's specious, because basically what you're saying is, you're not going to do anything until the nuke's in their hand. You know what I mean? It's like, then at that point it does no good. What you got to do is bring awareness to it ahead of time, right? If this was Microsoft and Microsoft had been denied this fucking patent, denied this trademark for the second time this year, how many fucking YouTubers would have been all over this? Boogie, Angry Joe, fucking all them losers, man. All them motherfuckers would have been all over this shit, and it just blows my mind.
Biggie would have fucking took his Xbox One and he would have threw it out the window and did his little hands in the air waving and shit. Yeah, he would have went conniption.
His face would have fucking turned red. He would have fucking been like, and everybody would have been like, Microsoft, you're so anti-fucking gamer, you're anti-consumer. Yet this is not anti-gamer, anti-consumer, right? They bitched about Microsoft being anti-consumer, even though we never got an Xbox One with DRM. We never got an Xbox One that couldn't play used games. We never got any of that bullshit, but that didn't stop them from fucking talking this shit up. And yet now we have Sony tried and failed again. You know what I mean? But it's just, oh, okay. I can't even put. You know what? I posted the article, the Eurogamer article on this on N4G, and it failed. It failed. They wouldn't allow it.
Unbelievable. And this is ridiculous because, you know, you're right. The first thing I'm envisioning when you said that crap, the first thing I saw in my eyes was a Boogie doing a video where he's like, "You're not allowed in my house anymore, Major Nelson. No more, you know, Star Wars fighting this other bullshit." I got news for you. This is the hypocrisy we're talking about. So anybody on YouTube, anyone who doesn't agree with us, this is what we're talking about. Weeks and weeks of preparation would go into anti-anything, consumer, things like this, if it was Microsoft. But if it was Sony, and it's quoted, we have him, Boogie actually said on Twitter, to crap, he said, if it had happened, we would have then went and revolted. If it would have happened, Boogie, this just in, you're so intelligent, it's too fucking late.
It would have been too late then.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
You know, so I mean, this is kind of the bullshit that we always talk about. And you know, a lot of people always say, why is it you guys talk about this? I think that if we can enlighten one person, one gamer, one person that just happens to possibly flicker through our channels, it is a success to me personally. I'm sure a few other people on the panel feel that way. So, you know, well, that's the breaking news we can talk about. How about you, Xbot? You got anything on this? What's your take on, basically, let's let the audience, everyone knows that tunes into my channel, knows how I feel. Where is it that you kind of come in with this breaking news on this? That's kind of like how you felt originally and how you feel now, maybe from the launch of the Xbox One.
Well, I say from my standpoint, I never, like, especially going from last generation to this generation, I don't trust Sony as a company. I let it be known. I'm a pro X1 dude. Am I a fanboy? No, I am not. If they do something good, I talk about it. But when it comes to, like, trying to trademark something that's so widely used by such a big community, and then to try to say they're for the gamers, you know, kind of doing that, like, in the back, you have to look through the paperwork. And when you look through the paperwork and it says about, you know, the game streaming and stuff like that, they completely want to control a huge community on YouTube. That doesn't show me that they are for the gamers whatsoever. It's incredible. Every time something comes out about what they're doing, all right, it seems to be swept under the rug. And I try to bring common sense back to the YouTube community. You know, I stay grounded and stuff, but, you know, I am a consumer. And when I see a company doing things like this, I am not going to invest in their hardware. I'm not going to invest in their software. They do not exist in my house, and that's just the way it is.
Yeah, no, I mean, to be honest with you, crap, you did a video a couple days ago basically talking about something else that Sony had done recently, and I can't remember, but they just literally, it's time after time, they just keep doing these things that are, they are anti-consumer.
Yeah.
And here's one of the things they are doing. Okay, now here, allow me, excuse me, everybody, I am pulling out a tinfoil hat for this. Literally, why not? So I had one custom made. But, like, literally, the whole point of the matter here is take Greg Miller and take Colin Moriarty.
You take them assholes, man.
Listen, these guys got their own channel now, okay? And with their own channel, by all means, you have the right to do whatever you like to do. That's their God-given right, just like I have mine. However, now we know this underlying, like, bullshit that they were pressing on us when they were on IGN. We had people doing reviews, those people being Colin and Greg, that literally, we know they wear a bias on their sleeve. They don't like the Xbox brand, okay? They just don't. They don't care for it, and that's okay. As a consumer, that's their choice. But as journalists, they were giving, I think you said crap in your video, Greg gave Uncharted 3 a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, he gave Uncharted 3 for IGN at the time a 10 out of 10.
And Colin gave The Last of Us a 10 out of 10. Now, I'm not saying that these aren't good games, but everything in the world that's a Sony exclusive, and in case anybody hasn't noticed, The Witness this week, a PS4 console exclusive, got a 10 out of 10 from IGN. Does again, I repeat this all the time, nobody in California likes Xbox? You know, can somebody help me with that?
Hey, whoa.
Oh, sorry about that. Sorry about that.
Hey, come on. I'm from California, and I love Xbox. It's all about Xbox.
You got to love that I always say that, Sal. Sal's always
Yeah, I know.
clenching his
You do
fist.
that shit just on purpose.
I do.
No,
I do. I
you
hate
know,
you
guys,
with that.
not for anything, but when a game gets a 10 out of 10, I am automatically right off. That's a red light to me right off the bat. I don't know. You said you follow my channel, Mooch. You know, in my reviews, I never give a perfect score because there's never a perfect game. Halo 5.
I don't think there is a game that's perfect. There's
I have
no
over
fucking
600. I'm going on 600 hours in Halo 5. The best I gave that was a 9.5. And it's the game that dominates my X1 right now, and I won't give it a perfect score. I won't give any game a perfect score. So right off the bat, when you start seeing these people, putting these reviews 10 out of 10, I'm already completely skeptical about it right off the bat.
Well, let me ask this question, Rand. I want to get you involved, and this actually really is up your tree, even though you think it may not be. You play a lot of games. What game just recollection? I mean, you can't remember all 1,100 or 1,300 you played, but which game would you say warranted a 10 out of 10 out of the Xbox games you played, 360 and the One? Any?
I'm of the opinion. Well, there's two schools of thought here, right? Like, I'm of the opinion that a 10 and a 10 means perfect, right?
Right.
And in my opinion, there's no such thing as a perfect game because there's always something wrong.
Absolutely.
At least something that could be improved.
Right.
I like
so, my scale kind of goes up to 9.5, which would be what I gave Ori last year, a 9.5, which was my game of the year. But then again, when you think about it, well, if the number scale for reviews is 0 to 10, but then you never use 0 and you never use 10, well, what's the point of having them on there, right?
Correct.
So I'm kind of like,
I guess a 1 to 9 list isn't as attractive, but go ahead.
Right,
sorry.
yeah, right. So it's like, okay, so should I start giving out 10s? Because if you never use 10, there's no point in it being on the scale.
Absolutely.
Maybe like a 5-star review would be better. In that case, like Ori would get 5 stars. I don't know. Like, I'm not like, there's something about perfection that prevents me from saying like this game is perfect. Well, no game is perfect because every game has flaws, right? So I don't know. I'm kind of having like an internal debate with myself about like, should I start giving games more 10s or should I keep it at 9.5?
Right.
Do you sit and look in the mirror and say, I should give more 10s? Like you practice it, and
I do, man. I look at it and be like, what would Ryan McCaffrey do?
He would trash it.
You know what game I thought came closest to be a perfected game, and that was Red Dead Redemption. I don't think there's anything about that game that I didn't like.
Well, I mean, I'm a huge fan of Red Dead. You know, the thing is, I'll be honest with you, I prefer Red Dead over any of the actual GTAs. Call me crazy, and I'm definitely in the minority there. That's fine. But the one thing the critique against Red Dead was that it basically was just GTA, but I preferred that environment. Again, myself personally, I don't really know if I have a 10 out of 10. That's why that question just kind of popped in my head, and I said, if I'm a reviewer, I've got a lot of 9s. But again, I guess my 9 would be the 10 because there is no such thing as 10. That goes for anybody. That goes for human beings. There's no perfect human being. There's nothing perfect a human being could probably create except for another human being.
Exactly. I think that's what the 10 represents, though. Like, even in sports, like, say, Michael Jordan, he was always reaching for perfection, even though he was never perfect. I think the 10 just kind of represents that reach to be, even though you will never get there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, there's people that say he's the absolute greatest ever, but he wasn't the absolute perfect player either.
Like, if you're asking me, like, oh, well, now, let's say you include 10, right? Well, yeah, there are games out there that, if 10 means not perfection, but just, like, a really damn good game that exemplifies everything good about video games, then I have a few games on that list. Like, the original BioShock, BioShock Infinite, Grand Theft Auto 5, Ori, like, a few others, like, I can't remember.
I love the original BioShock, man.
Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 2 was great.
I'd have to actually go back and look at all the games I played.
I gave Forza Horizon 2 a 10 out of 10.
Forza Horizon 2 would, for me, be like a 9. The only reason was...
I played that game, like, the first... I think I played it 18 hours that first day it was out. Like, amazing.
I finished that... Here's why I give that game a 9. Because I played the game, and I did all the career events, all 168 of them. And it tells you, like, the time spent, and it's like... It took me 140 hours. But then it literally tells you, like, the time driving to events. I literally spent 80 hours of the 140 driving to the races. And, like, that to me is just, like, unacceptable. I'm like, no, that I got to dock points for that. Like, I want to race my car. I don't want to drive to the races,
So basically,
Yeah.
what you're saying is, when it comes to a 10 out of 10, a 10 is not exactly a perfect game. It's just a very, very, very good game.
Essentially, otherwise, then there's no reason to have the 10.
I
It should
think
be a 9.
sports games are easier to, or racing easier to get to that 10 than say a game like like The Last of Us, where that's a very polarizing topic. A lot of people like that. I know a lot of people that don't like it for the same reasons I don't like it, which is the story is very cliche. It's very repetitive. Throw a bottle, throw a rock, throw a bottle, throw a fucking rock, throw another goddamn bottle, throw another goddamn rock. Right? It's like, to me, that's like hours and hours of that, and you just want to like claw out your hair, and you know what I mean. It's like that's what that game was to me. The story wasn't good enough for me to like think that, oh my god, this is so heart wrenching, because I've seen that shit all over. You know what I mean? It's like a movie of the month or whatever. It's like, oh, okay, there's another fucking outbreak. Who? The guy lost his daughter. Well, let's go fucking cry some more while he escorts the girl who happens to be the cure. You know what I mean? Like, to me, that was also so ham-fisted. I didn't feel any emotional attachment to any of that. It was all just a bunch of bullshit. Like, I can understand why some people did like that, but to me, even the graphics just look like they dilapidated Uncharted 2. You know what I mean? Hey, let's take these the buildings, it all looked like Uncharted 2 buildings. Let's take these Uncharted buildings, make them look a little bit more dingy with some overgrowth and shit, and slap it on there. You know what I mean? And that's what they did. And so that's why, for me, that game it just wasn't great. I don't even consider that a good game. Now Uncharted 2, that was a damn good game. That was probably one of the best games of last generations, and even that wasn't a 10 out of 10.
Yeah, and well, speaking of actual, first I'd like to introduce Dreyer Smith came in, who is a freelance writer for Tick, and Dreyer, we're gonna get to you in a second because I think your hot subject's gonna come up in a minute. But speaking of falsities, speaking of a lot of falsities that are out there, like these 10 out of 10s, the other thing I've noticed is there's this thing called the PC Master Race out there, folks, and boy, is that a crock of shit if I've ever heard of it before. And the subject was brought up because 2 days ago it's actually made headlines. Remember, if it makes headlines, it won't make any headlines if it's ever an Xbox game or anything like that. But we actually have everyone's running with the story that PC pirates are stealing and pirating The Witness. Jonathan Blow's The Witness. It's getting absolutely manhandled and taken for free. So, what do you guys take? What's your take on PC? This is why I have a really hard time taking PC people serious, because.
Oh, what just happened?
Uh-oh.
Oh, Mooch.
Okay, this is officially Crack Gamers Podcast now. Okay, I'm taking over.
The takeover has begun.
It has begun. I've kicked out Mooch out of his own goddamn podcast. Anyway, yeah. So Jonathan Blow, who I absolutely despise, and got in an argument with him on Twitter, and he blocked me, and it made news and stuff when he was like trashing Microsoft, and he said they threatened him and all this stuff, right? They said basically, and now his game is a PS4 only and PC, right? And the PC version, they're pirating the hell out of this. And he's saying,
didn't Braid made him fucking rich though, didn't it?
Well, you would think, but he said Microsoft made all the money. He said basically Microsoft he said Microsoft threatened him. That's what he said. Microsoft threatened him. So
yeah, it was like the mafia and shit. They showed up at his door with some trench coats.
They got some Italians or something. I don't know,
man. They got some guys like the Mooch.
Yeah, they got like Worry Wart leaning on him. I don't know if you've seen that.
But I think it was under Steve Ballmer. Anything goes under Steve Ballmer.
That's true enough. That's the dude who threw a chair when he found out that Bungie left.
Yeah.
He showed up in his red sweater and rolled it in a knot and put it against his neck.
Yeah, I mean, you lean on them. That's what you do. But anyway, so this guy's saying, hey, the actual pirating on PC might affect the future of this game,
or any future titles as well.
Yeah, or any future title. He's crying about it. And my thought is, hey, if you wanted to sell your game well, maybe don't be such a dick. Put it on multiple platforms. You know what I'm saying? And reap your revenue like that. Because right now nobody's pirating stuff on Xbox One or PS4. They can't do it yet.
You never hear about that.
He just found out what the other publishers already know, that a lot of players pirate on the PC. So he just found out the hard way, and now he wants to implement DRM if it goes on like this.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's some. I guess some like somebody was trying to tell me that that I think it was on Twitter yesterday. They're like, well, because somebody who was at Wrath, who's a new YouTuber, right? He showed me that people are pirating Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC already, and I said, hey, that's really sad, And this other guy, this PC Master Race guy, jumps in, right? And he goes, well, they can pirate it, but there's no crack. Well, guess what came up today? A cracked version. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like you're going to get millions of people pirating these games. It makes it not even worth it to put it on the platform, in my opinion, because people are just going to pirate it or wait for it to be $2 and on a Steam sale. So I don't even know. Is Mooch's podcast even
You know what?
anymore? Hold on.
You know what? Doesn't it just damage? Doesn't it damage the PC's like ego or reputation for being?
Well, I think
No.
the people,
No?
who aren't on the PC, yeah, it definitely like you can see when stuff like this happens. People that aren't into PC gaming, who haven't invested in a gaming computer yet, it looks so open that so much can be done. I like the security and the simplicity of a console. And it's just funny, like he's going right down the last videos I made, the 3 last videos I made. I talked about all this as well. I have children as well, so like a PC tower, like I can't let them touch the PC tower and play games because one little wrong click and they're somewhere in my system infrastructure and they can screw everything up. At least with the console, like I said, it's safe and it's simple, and you get quality games for it. That's why I'm a console gamer. I don't see myself ever going to PC anyway.
I was just told by the PC people to never speak about them again, so I don't know how the hell that happened.
They hacked into you. You started talking about the PC Master Race, and they're like, "Oh, we'll fucking teach him a lesson."
As this little scrawny guy must weigh like 70 pounds soaking wet outside with super soaker threatening me. So
Glasses weigh more than him.
Absolutely. So I apologize for bouncing out, guys. But do continue. Where did you guys leave off? I just got back in.
We're talking about that asshole Jonathan Blow and about how he's crying about his game getting pirated on PC.
Yeah, I mean, do we think that that's actually going to come to the Xbox One, or is that another one of those things like Brazil where it was rated and nobody actually gave a shit but the media?
I wouldn't rule it out. Obviously now he just lost a big revenue stream. So what choice does he have?
That's what I was thinking. I didn't think there was a Chinaman's chance, really, to be honest with you. But I do think no.
I think if everyone steals the game on PC, then he won't have a choice.
That's right. He's going to have to. He's got to make up that other half the revenue on the Xbox system. Problem is Xbox, I don't know. I mean, Rand, I know you play a lot of indies, and for multiple reasons. Part is, what you're trying to accomplish, but I do think somewhere in your heart you actually have a soft spot for these indies, and I just don't think Xbox fans buy indies, like not nearly as much as the PlayStation crowd, right?
I mean, that's tough to speculate on without like sales numbers.
I just don't hear anybody talk about it. I mean, we're all pretty in the community. Nobody. I mean, you mention it once in a while, but
if you look at on the Xbox Live website, you can actually see what's the most downloaded items on Xbox Live, the digital titles, and it's most of the time it's like free to play, MOBAs and those MMO type games,
guys,
and then AAA. So the most popular games are MOBAs and MMOs, and then AAA games. Every now and again, you'll see an indie pop up there and get huge downloads like Ark Survival Evolved, but not that many indies jump to the top 10 or something like that.
Well, I mean, myself personally, I just think, and I know I'm probably gonna get disconnected for this comment too, but PC gamers are kind of a cancer to gaming as a whole because, they really don't. And I saw a couple pie charts that came out that showed some numbers, and I sat there and I really looked at it, and there was a lot of people they said that were buying PC games, but the games weren't the AAA games. It was a lot of the Steam sale stuff, the $3 stuff, the $2 stuff, and you know, the misconception is, what is it everyone always says? It's the vocal minority on YouTube. There's a very loud group of people that have YouTube channels that make it sound like all of us have a Xbox One, a PlayStation 4, and a $4,500 computer to play games on. That's really not the case. I mean, I've been gaming for a really long time. I think I know 2 or 3 people in my entire life that have a serious rig. Like something that you would say is, wow, it's really like breathtaking to see the effects on a 4K screen or whatever it is they have now, an 8K screen at their homes. I think that the PC gamers are hurting us because there's this emphasis and push for PC, yet we see that the developers, and it's happening right now with the Division, okay? And I'm not even going to segue into that yet, but the Division really doesn't look that much different from console to PC. I mean, have you guys seen the comparisons? It's only the 60 frames.
Comparisons. Yeah,
it's only the 60 frames that makes a difference. I haven't noticed any big difference at all. So I don't know. I can't say myself personally. I just think that it's something that it's another instance where we see PC is hurting the industry, not helping the industry. Because everybody on there, it's not regulated. It's an open source. That's what makes PC so glorious and so shitty at the same time.
Well, Mooch, if I could just two things. If I could just go back when you were talking about, Xbox owners when it comes to indies and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you remember, 360 basically paved the way for, indies being on a console. I think people who went from the 360 to the X1, we're used to indies already. You know what I'm saying? There's no real excitement. We've had it an entire generation before time, and we had a bunch of it. Go ahead.
I think with the indies, I think there's so many of them, and most of them are utter shit. So I would say if there's a good indie like Inside or Limbo or games like that, then Oxenfree or stuff like that, then people would buy them. But most of the time, it's like shit that nobody really wants. I don't know. I don't.
And that's the funny thing is everybody complained when the Xbox One didn't have that many indie games. Now there's just an influx, and it's like crazy. It seems like every week we're getting like 5, 6 new indie games, and now everybody's like, well, I ain't gonna buy that pile of crap. Well, now before it was not enough. Now it's too many. So I mean, is anybody ever going to be happy?
Yeah, I think we can thank the media for that, because when Sony came out on February 20th, 2013 with their reveal, they didn't show anything as far as main titles, but they had the 20 people standing in a semicircle with controllers showing off indies and saying, this is basically what you're going to get this generation. And let me tell you something, with glorious applause, they showed that was what it sounded like that was what the consumers wanted. And Sony's on record as saying they could put out 10, 15, what is it there? They could put 10 or 15 games out that are indies that would cost what one AAA, and AAA's fail 33% of the time. So, I mean, it's really something that I blame the media for personally, and we're stuck with it now. We're stuck with it. I don't know. I mean, getting back into it, though, let's get into something a little bit more positive. The Xbox folks are really wanting to hear us talk about it. Let's talk about the Division for a minute. I know, Rand, did you get a chance to play it? I'd like to start going down the other side of the panel here. Rand, what's your take on it?
I have yet to play the beta. I played the alpha. I'm getting the game when it comes out. Here's the thing with these type of stuff. I don't want to play a lot of it because I know I'm going to play the final release at some point. So I don't want to feel like how I felt when I played Destiny beta, when I realized that I had literally played
that was half the game,
a quarter or a third of the game. So
let's be real. You want to get the achievements for it. That you don't want to go.
I mean, who doesn't want to get the achievements for it? But
exactly.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil anything. It's like I played the alpha. I liked it. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna buy this when it comes out, and that's all I need. I just wanted to taste, and I'll come back when the game's officially out.
You just wanted a little morsel, just to see what it's all about.
Yep. The game's good, man. I liked it. I did try out some of the Dark Zone stuff and that stuff.
Oh, my goodness.
Or it's the Dark Zone, right?
No, the Dark Zone wasn't unlocked in the alpha.
No, but I mean, I'm talking about in the beta.
Yeah, the beta is I guess the Dark Zone's completely open.
Yeah, but like that seems like an interesting multiplayer mechanic. Like it seems like trust. Like who do you trust? Are you? It's like so. Like me, Mooch, and Crap going to the Dark Zone
Oh,
together.
fuck me, huh?
Is well, no, because I know you won't turn on me, but will Crap turn on me again and take all my loot? Will Mooch turn on us both and take everything? You don't know. You know?
No, you guys are Xbox guys. You're good. No, I mean, what do you think, Crap? I don't really ever ask you about games because generally we're on the same page. What do you
Well,
think?
everybody knows I don't really game. Come on, man. I'm never gaming.
Well, yeah,
I'm a
you're
big
always
fraud,
on
man.
the video. I always see
Yeah,
the
I'm
video
on
beta.
I'm on the video. Yeah, I'm on the video beta. I only put 5,500 hours on the Xbox last year. So, I mean, I'm only at 103,000 gamer score. So yeah, clearly I don't game at all. But yeah, that game is really good. It's going to be huge. Did you see it's pre-order #1 on Xbox One? Right now,
It
that's where
should
it's
be.
trending. Yep, on Amazon, it's been that way for the last 2 days. People are loving it. Not only that, but Ubisoft is having such strong demand for this game that they're not giving out beta tests. They're saying even if you pre-order the game now, you might not be able to get into this beta. It's going really well. The game is fun. That's the thing I took away from it. It's fun. You know what I mean? It's fun. You play it with your friends. It's that connected experience. It's that teaming up. It's that having fun. It's what games should be. So I think that it's going to be a real big hit.
Well,
Hey, guess
I've
what?
known you play it extensively. So I mean, what would you say? Because everyone's obviously comparing it to Destiny, a little bit more, real version of
Yeah.
Destiny.
I like
Um,
that. I like that it's a little bit more realer. Like, yeah, it's got that they sponge bullets like the enemies and stuff, so it's got that kind of arcadey feel or that MMO feel or whatever. But it's more realistic in my opinion. I mean, they could have just as easily made it goblins or something. But I like the fact that it's people and and it's more realistic and the world is so open. You know what I mean? It's like it is. It's like there's gonna be lots to do for a long time in that game. Now, what really could bug me or turn me off in that game is if I'm not too keen on the DLC aspect of it. Like, okay, you get this one area or whatever, and then the rest are DLC. It kind of reminds me of Destiny a bit. It's like we're getting to that point where you're not getting your full game for $60. I don't know, but yeah, the game is fun. It's a day one for me, so I know if that makes any kind of.
Well, I
I
mean,
played enough of it to know.
I gotta
Physical
say,
or digital?
Digital, you know why? Because it's online only.
wow.
Yeah, so you know what? Yeah, I can game share that with my bro, and then I don't have to put a disc in for that. And what's it matter? Because say this is the thing, like I'll get online only games digitally. That's fine with me because the disc will be a coaster one day anyway. You know what I mean? So hey, I mean, look, I had Mag on PS3, and guess what that is? It's a coaster.
It's
You know?
definitely a coaster.
Yeah, like SOCOM Confrontation on PS3, coaster. You know what I mean? These games that are online only, when they turn off the servers, you're done. But of course it's only an issue if it's Xbox. But I digress.
Well, here's I just want to make a comment on the Division. So I played it last night, and here's the things. First of all, I went into it like super excited. So first of all, I want to say I like it. I really do. I thought the mechanics were good. I like the idea. First of all, I'm a huge fan that it's in New York. I think that hits home and it resonates. It's definitely a day one buy for me. Now, I just want to say I couldn't give it the complete rosy glow that a lot of people are doing. My only thing with it is with the shooting, it is interesting to look at another human being across the way and have to fire 7,500 bullets at him. It is a little odd. I mean, I will say, and I know that's weird. Like, it's a video game, right? So who cares? But for some reason, when you're shooting in Halo at somebody that has a shield that's this creature, mentally, I'm able to just picture that as that's just the way you kind of get into the game, right? And you're on this planet and you're doing whatever, and not to sound like a complete, like dork, but like literally, you get into it a little bit and you get, engulfed into the story. Here, you're like, I'm in New York. I feel like I'm home. I'm walking around. I see this and that, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta kill that dude. He's doing something wrong. And then it's like, brr, brr, and just brr, brr, and you just keep going and keep going and keep going and then finally they drop. And I mean, the only thing is I was kind of hoping that they would make it so that the armor looked a little bit more, instead of just being a bulletproof vest, it was a little bit more like we started like wearing heavier armor. I mean, it is post-apocalyptic. They can do whatever they want. They can kind of take it in the armor sci-fi world, even though we're using regular bullets. Did you guys feel that way? I mean, am I the only one that felt that way? Is there something there where we're just going to overlook that, and that's fine? I can totally move
You
on.
could have
From
replaced it with goblins, like I said. Like it's yeah, I mean that's because look, that's what you do. Like in MMOs, which is what it is. I don't know if you're familiar with them that much, but
Absolutely.
you know it takes time, and there's going to be bosses and things like that. So you play Destiny, same thing, but with more realistic people. Just pretend that they've all been infected with shit, and it takes them more bullets to kill them. That's
Actually, I was a little skeptical at first when I first downloaded the beta because of that aspect, but it didn't feel crazy to me. The guys, like, after a certain amount of bullets, they do kind of stutter back and stuff like that, giving you a chance to be able to reload and keep going. One of the things that I saw in the beta that I was a little worried about was me and one of my friends were playing the game. We came across like these two thugs basically mugging an innocent civilian, and there was two thugs that were backing them up down an alleyway. So we took care of the four guys and everything like that, you know, got a couple little common drops and everything, and we were happy. We walked down 2 blocks, and then for some reason, I don't know why, he wanted to go back the same way we came. We went back, and that same situation had spawned again. So with me, you know, there are a lot of like XP farmers out there and stuff like that. I hope that's not exactly how it is in the full retail game, because then you're going to have people that are just going to constantly rotate that one scenario until they have like an incredible like rank in the game.
Well,
You know
I saw your video. That was just before you linked up with that random person that you were shooting down. And actually, you know what? Shout out to Xbot right here. Great video today he put out on the Division. And the one thing I thought you said that was an interesting play, and of course you can do this with friends, but he said because the Dark Zone there, okay, is basically, you know, it's PvP, but like, you know, everyone right now is running around killing each other, and people are a little concerned about that. Don't be concerned about that. I think that'll mellow out a little bit once the game gets going. Right now, everybody realizes that in 3 days, 2 days, whatever you've earned, you lose anyway.
Yeah.
So I think people are a little bit more shoot happy now. I think people will be less likely to do that when everything is on record. Does that mean there's not going to be anybody out there? No. But what was funny was Xbox says him and his family are going to make like this team, and that in itself is a game. He says we're going to go out into the Dark Zone, and we're going to actually protect people and help them get to their rendezvous, to the helicopter. And I thought that was interesting because that's like you making your own game in the game. You're just going to link up with people and kind of escort them out. That's a cool thing to do with the family. I thought that was a neat little game there. But you also made me think about it with the farming, the XP farming was just that like they really need to work on that. That is an important thing because if you guys remember when Destiny first launched, there was a couple of those caves where enemies were just respawning and coming out, respawning and coming out.
The
and
loot caves, man. You know, I missed that because we sit there and we just shoot fucking at nothing for 4 hours on end. It was great.
Yeah, and I mean it was like people were.
And hopefully you got a good engram.
How long did Bungie let that last for before they stopped?
Well, at first. Oh yeah, we're not gonna fix it. We're not gonna change it. And then I guess people were starting to really level up pretty good. They're like, oh, okay. But so I mean, it was probably a good month.
Yeah. So I'm hoping that people like to compare the Division and Destiny. I don't know if it's the same. I get it. I see the correlation, but I don't necessarily agree 100% with it. But I hope that at least the Division, the folks, the developers behind it, take notes to what has already been changed in Destiny that they can tweak. And one of those is what Xbox said. Make sure there's no farming, that's XP farming that's going on with just constant and immediate respawns. I mean, what about you, Dreyer? I know you're I really want to get your take right now because you've been very vocal on Twitter the past 2 days. You've been very much in favor of it. What was your take as your experience?
Well, when I saw the game, I wasn't going to get it because I'm not really into this type of game because it reminded me of Destiny, and I was afraid it was going to be as dull as Destiny was. But this is the first game that I'm actually going to buy the season pass for day one.
Wow, that's a turnaround.
That's huge.
Because this game, I don't know, it's so much fun, and like Destiny, it's you can actually compare the two But this game is a lot more realistic. The setting is amazing, detailed, everything. The world is actually alive with things happening and all of that. Not like Destiny where it's just a map and you respawn and the enemy respawns and then you shoot them.
Right. It's very static in Destiny.
And I've spent about 6-7 hours now, actually more, 9 hours almost, in the dark zone. Just running around killing people. But something that you said about escorting people to the evacuation spots, that's not actually how the dark zone works. You are sent in there to take out all these gangs that have set up in the dark zone. So that's your mission. And so when you kill them, then you get loot. And the only way you can get that loot out of the dark zone is to go to an evacuation spot and request a helicopter to come and collect that so that it can take it back to the home base.
I think what he was trying to do, Dreyer, was he was just saying he was going to be like a vigilante on the good side and kind of be like, I'm just going to assist people.
It's quite fun because interesting mechanic, that whole thing where you see other people running around doing the same thing. And then when you are at the evacuation spots, then you are like afraid because it happened quite a few times with me that you all wait for the helicopter and then suddenly one of the guys goes rogue and shoots at everyone else to get their loot. So the nice thing about that is when you do that, you become a rogue agent and you get a bounty on your head. And so everyone else in the game who didn't go rogue...
Is it like free-for-all or is it all co-op? You're on the same team. How is that exactly work?
If you are on the same team, then you can't shoot your own teammates. That's impossible.
Okay, so friendly fire is not on.
Yeah, but you are basically all the players in the dark zone are technically on the same side, but as soon as you shoot a guy on your own in the division, basically, you become a rogue agent, and then they place a bounty on your head so that the other players can come and kill you and get a reward. So that is something that happens if you go rogue and just want to kill everyone. You get everyone else on your ass, and they will come and murder you.
So like what Rand was saying earlier, you can basically turn on your companions and take all the loot for yourself.
Yeah, you have to drop yourself from your squad, and then you can shoot at the people that you were just like teaming up with.
Yeah, but that's not a good idea.
No,
that
doesn't sound like fun. I don't like screwing my friends in the back.
Yeah.
That doesn't
because
sound fun.
Another thing that's really cool about the game is we were walking down the street, I think Madison, and we were walking past two other guys, and then suddenly we were talking to each other like normal people would do on the side of the street, and we were like, don't go down that road because there are a bunch of really badass guys down there taking like really high level guys, so be careful around the corner and stuff like that. So it's a really amazing game, and I'm really looking forward. I'm gonna buy it day one.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely in, but I tell you, the same thing I say about Destiny is the same thing that I'm going to say about The Division, is that the game is just designed to have a lot of fun with friends, family, however you want to look at it. I know a lot of people are going to go in and play it solo, but even developers at the conferences they've had when they were taking Q&A, they said you surely can go on in and enjoy yourself, enjoy it first. But the game is not designed to make you lose as a solo campaign, but you're not going to accelerate. You're not going to be able to really progress alone for long.
It's not fun when you are alone, and some things can get difficult if you are alone. So get your squad together, and like 4 guys, and then just go and enjoy the dark zone.
Is this going to be another case, guys? I'm going to ask this question, and we're going to go down the panel. Is this going to be another case? The one thing that bothered me about Destiny was like raids were really the end result. That's where you wanted to get. You had to get to a certain level to get in there. And then even if you worked your ass off in Destiny to get to a certain point, if you weren't at a certain level, you couldn't experience the raid with the people that were ahead of you. Do you think this game's going to do the same thing where somebody who maybe is 25, 30 hours in can't hang out with somebody who's over 100 hours? I mean, crap, what do you think, Dryer?
No, I don't think that would happen because I'm level 12, the highest you can go in the beta.
Yeah.
And I've been playing with people who are level 5 and everything, and the difficulty doesn't change at all. When you are
so
in
you're
the
not
level.
you're not like OP. You're not like just mowing things
Well,
down.
you get better guns.
You're level 5, having trouble.
Yeah, you get better guns, but the guns don't feel overpowered. Just a bit more accurate, and bullet damage might be a bit more, but I haven't.
So it automatically adjusts to your level versus everybody else?
That's difficult to say because I don't really know, but it didn't feel like I was overpowered. I could get shot and killed as easily as I would have gotten killed when I was in level 5 or something. So the game really is really balanced, basically. That's what I'm really trying to say.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying, and one thing we didn't talk about is the Dark Zone is actually split between levels. There's a certain part of the Dark Zone that you don't like. They kind of warn you it's for Dark Zone levels 7 through 8, I believe, and those enemies that are in there are higher ranking. So yeah, you can bring like lower level people with you, but it's not necessarily going to help your team out, especially if you go into those areas, because then those lower level people, it's going to take so many more bullets to take out, an enemy AI or something like that. It is going to hamper your team a little bit, but as I feel, as long as you work together, it shouldn't be a problem.
If you're a good team and you play well together, then you can take on basically anyone. I have experienced some AI that are really, really difficult to kill. Like they give you 2 shots and then you're down, and then someone else has to come and revive you. So they are really tough, elite AI, as we call them. But
Well, crap! I haven't heard from you in a minute, and I get nervous when you don't talk.
He's busy stealing video footage.
Plotting to take Sony down from underneath it. But listen, crap! Tell me one thing.
He's talking shit to Mr. Blow right now.
What's the one negative you got on the beta so far?
Let me think.
I should say negative. I want to retract that already. Not negative, but give me one concern.
Like I said, the DLC would be the concern because they did come out. But actually, from playing it, you know what I'm saying. There's enough of the world. It's hard saying. Like the game played smooth. Like it's a beta, but it's really smooth. The graphics look good. Apparently, it's 1080p. The frame rate seemed good. Like I didn't have any problems. So I'm not sure exactly. Look, let's be honest. Ubisoft has kind of had a rough track record so far this generation, right? Unity was a good game, but only like 6 months after they launched it, right? Syndicate, really good, but nobody's really given it a chance because Unity was kind of a mess. Watch Dogs, we didn't get what they showed us at E3. The Division, I would guess that it doesn't look as good as what we saw like a year or so ago. Obviously they probably should stop showing their games on those high-end PCs because nobody has those. You know what I mean? Or very few. Next gen, if you got that $12,000 PC, then maybe you can play that stuff. You know what I'm saying? But as far as normal, you're not.
That's all a lie, right? He was exposed. That's not real.
Oh, exposed.
Wait a minute. The $12,000 PC.
I have 2 concerns, Mooch, or 2 negatives.
What do you got, man?
One of them would be the lack of a proper multiplayer mode.
Yeah.
like a strictly versus
Like PvP.
Yeah, like I think that's kind of I don't know how it would work in this game because like you said it takes forever to kill people, but that's kind of like a negative in my view. Like people would like to play multiplayer and it's not there. So
Maybe
that's
they'll
kind of
add it.
maybe, but then the other thing is the same thing that's plaguing Destiny right now. Content. Where
Yeah.
like is it gonna be supported? Is there things that for you to do 6 months from now, right?
Yeah.
Like, because if you play it and you get everything and you're like, well, I'm done, and you don't play it again, that's a problem, right?
Right. And I mean,
So-
that is a huge issue. And now I actually want to take that and take it a step further. I watched a video today. I believe it was Open World Games on YouTube. They're really into the Division. They've kind of built their whole franchise around it, doing a channel on it. And he said that they had information on the DLC from the developer, and they mentioned what the 3 DLCs would be called. And I don't remember the name of them off the top of my head. I apologize. I listened to
One
it.
is called Survival.
Survival,
One is
that's it.
The Last Stand.
Yes.
And the other one is the one where you can, where they open up the underground system.
Yes, the tunnels and the subway system.
The
But here's my
tunnels,
thing,
yeah.
Dryer. My thing that I was concerned when I read the descriptions for each of those, and apparently you did as well. When we read those, I didn't hear about new mapped areas like the Bronx Central Park with story to it. Is that something that's going to be coming free?
I think that would be free.
Well, I mean, Destiny didn't do that.
Yeah, I think because they announced that DLC that they will add that to the game as time progresses, like the the boroughs, Brooklyn, and all of those places. So that wasn't mentioned in the DLC season pass. So we'll have to see if that would be free or if that would come as a paid addition outside of the season pass.
I mean, I don't know. That is a huge concern. I mean, Rand brought it up, and it's something that, like, here's the thing. So Destiny got to what, a year and a half, year and 3/4, and now people that are diehards are turning their back on it. It was so fast. It was like a 24-hour window. It seemed like everybody was so like all over Destiny, and then in 24 to 48 hours, everybody just bailed. And they're like, screw this shit.
That's because people realized there was nothing in the pipeline. And in games like okay, so maybe that doesn't really matter in some other games like Halo, like where the multiplayer, you get on, you play the multiplayer, and it's always the same. In Destiny, like the lure or the carrot on the stick is the grind, right? It's the loot. It's not necessarily the multiplayer or the PvE. It's like what am I going to get next? What am I going for? And when you have everything, it's like, well, I don't got nothing to do anymore, right? With Halo, it's like, well, I get on, I'm just going to kill people and have fun and play the multiplayer. But you don't really get that necessarily. I'm sure some people actually get that.
I was going to say, with
multiplayer.
Halo, the rec system now, you actually, like, I find myself, building up that 10,000 point rec points per to continuously get, like, my gold rec packs. I haven't spent a single, dime besides the money for the game on that. Right. And I have like all the armor, all the helmets, all the visors from common through rare. Like I have all the permanents going from common through rare.
Right, and Halo used customization stuff as the carrot on the stick for this one.
Yeah.
But like, I don't know. It's that's why I'm concerned about like the trend in this like gaming.
Yeah.
Like Destiny. I have friends who are supremely addicted to it. Friends who have played it over 4,000 hours, and they're starting to turn on it.
Right.
Because there's nothing to do. And with all the news that came out of Bungie, like, Kotaku wrote the article, like, hey, there's nothing coming this year. They can't make anything because, number one, their engines are so bad. Because the engine's so bad, they can't make anything on time. They don't want to say anything because they don't want to promise when it's going to come out. So it leads to this whole, like, silence surrounding Destiny. So the fan base wants all this news, but they can't promise any news because they can't make the content fast enough because the way to make the content is so shitty, you know. And because of all this, I'm sure you guys know that they ousted the CEO of Bungie. He's gone. They got rid of him. Of course, they say he stepped down, but the truth of the matter is he was voted out by the.
How could you step? Yeah, really. How could you step down when that game is so popular and sold so many?
Yeah.
Like that's bullshit.
To me,
anybody believes that.
To me,
go ahead.
The fact that he got ousted so close to those articles pretty much validates the articles themselves. Like I really think they're not going to get any content for Destiny this year. It's probably going to be a long time to a proper Destiny 2.
Well, you want to talk about the right time at the right place. Isn't it funny how just sometimes people in life step and shit at the right time? Isn't that amazing? I mean, you can't get any better than the Division coming out on March 8th. It's very clear right now that Destiny is pretty much Rand, everything you just said, I'm spot on with you with that. I mean, they're just going to give us some drabbled content, this ridiculousness, like this thing that's coming out in February around Valentine's Day. They got some couples, I don't know what the hell they're pitching.
It's a tweak on an existing mode already. Like I'm saying, they are. I don't know if you've read Jason Schreier's previous article where he talks about the hardship of the engine behind Destiny and how terrible it is.
Yeah.
They're talking like people got to turn their computers on overnight, so when they get into the office, that takes 9 hours to do, turn on, and then they move one thing 1 centimeter, and then see if it works. Like, it is impossible to make content in a timely fashion, right? That's why all these other companies who are smart either use Unreal Engine 4, or they use Unity, or they use their own engines. Like Ubisoft uses, for the most part, the same engine in all their users. I forget
that's why all their games. Yeah, that's why all their games look like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah, and EA uses Frostbite for everything.
Yeah,
it's because the engine is one of the most important parts of the game itself, and that's why Destiny is having such a big problem. And it's a shame to see. I mean, I don't have anything against like Bungie or Destiny or anything like that. But it's just like, yo, like they were the chosen ones essentially. They were given like, here's the Halo, the makers of Halo, and it's like every publisher on the face of the planet was throwing them a fucking blank check to make their next game, right?
Yep.
And they chose Activision because Activision had experience. Well, Activision Blizzard had experience with MMOs and such. And it's like, all right, we do this, and now, like, from what you read, Activision is breathing down their necks because they want revenue. And all this stuff, and oh my god, like I would love to be on a fly on the wall at Bungie, just listening to the higher ups, just like, there's gonna be a good book written about all the difficulties of Destiny in like 10 years.
Yeah, because
do you guys think that Destiny, that Bungie, they're like stifled right now? Like they really don't know how to implement their next features or updates or whatever?
Well, they have another team working with them now. High Moon Studios, who did
Deadpool.
Transformers.
Yeah, they did Deadpool and the first 2 Transformers games, are now working on Destiny content. So they're basically, that's never a good sign. It's like when Infinity Ward, when all those guys left, and then all of a sudden you heard Neversoft and all these other Raven Software coming in to help, quote unquote, the new Infinity Ward. You knew that wasn't a good sign, and their games were crap. You know what I mean? So who knows what's going on? I do know that we won't see Destiny 2 this year.
Yeah, because I think if they want to do Destiny 2, they'll have to start all over again with a new engine.
Yep.
And that's going to take a lot of work.
You really think that drastic?
Yes.
They're going to have to make a whole new engine just for Destiny 2?
They have such a problem with the engine the way it is now, South, that even if they're talking about saving the content that's being made right now for DLC for Destiny 1, they're like, well, we probably should
save it for Destiny 2.
They're going to have the same exact problem after Destiny 2, where it's like, fuck, we don't have any. Like, what they should do is just, all right, guys, we're done. We're switching engines to Unreal Engine 4. It's going to be a while to Destiny 2, and then once you have that in place, you can probably get proper content drops all the time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the big
So do you think that they should come out and just say, you know what,
Yes,
this
they need
is
to-
too ambitious?
I mean,
they need to
I
be
think they
transparent.
Yeah, you need because if you don't have anything for a year, like that fan base is gone. That fan base ain't coming back. Like a year is a long time. Like you need to be like, all right, these are the problems we're having. I mean, I don't know what they should do, but like I know, like switching gears, I know someone could take advantage of this. Like if Destiny 2 is scheduled to come out in September, and now it's not, then Microsoft be like, hey, we're putting out ReCore in September. Like we're moving a game of ours to the area that we thought wasn't going to be available to us. Like these like someone should take advantage of the fact that game's not coming out. And actually that's kind of a boon to Microsoft because as you know, Sony would have the marketing rights to Destiny 2 most likely. And now that game is probably not coming out. So I mean that's kind of I guess like a boon to them.
And they should really market the Division really hard this from now on forward, because this game could like be the saving grace for the Destiny fan base, because it's basically the same game.
I think they're saving their advertising money for Quantum Break.
I was gonna say there's so many exclusives coming out this year that I think they could they could use that money
Well,
elsewhere.
Yeah, well, Ubisoft can do the marketing then.
Well, no, I mean
It's
Microsoft has the
the
marketing,
marketing.
so
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
but I just think Microsoft is. I think they've doubled down on Quantum Break, and they're gonna go hard on that game.
Man, Quantum Break, Sea of
Yeah,
Thieves,
from what everybody says,
War,
Quantum
like,
Break's gonna have a huge marketing push. Like they're going all in.
Well, like it should be. Yeah.
They should be, but here's my thing. Let's get started, guys. I mean, if somebody actually, you know what? If you don't mind Southbound tonight when you're playing with Phil, can you tell him to step on the gas? I want to see some. I want to see some commercials. I want to see some commercials. I want to see Super Bowl ads. I want to see this stuff. I mean, let Microsoft. This is actually something where people are saying that The Division is one of the graphically better games that they're seeing next generation, maybe in open world games. But the Quantum Break game that is coming out April 5th is, I think, the way we all talked about Gears of War with 360, I think Quantum Break is that for the Xbox One. And, not just the effects, but also the way that the gameplay is going to change. They're taking Max Payne, and they're taking what was the other one there? The one where they freeze time. Lord, I can't remember the other one now off the top of my head. But nonetheless,
Painkiller? Wasn't that Painkiller?
Yes, Painkiller. They actually do that. They're actually morphing that into one outstanding new series, which Microsoft, correct me if I'm wrong, Microsoft owns the IP on Quantum Break, I believe, right?
Yeah, they own the IP. It's their game, so you don't got to worry about people port bagging or anything like that.
But they still will.
They still will.
Port bag. Come on now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm sure they will, but I mean, just the almost the entire fan base is idiots, but the ones that don't realize.
Quantum Break was rated for Wii U in Nigeria. Did you hear?
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't hear that, but that's good to know. Hey, Microsoft also owns the IP to Scalebound. So I mean that's going to be interesting because people here's the thing, people really want these games, right? Like you could tell, you could just see Quantum Break is one of those games that's why when that rumor to PC, people got really excited and talked about it a lot, right? Because right now it's just that great looking it's that really next gen great looking next gen Xbox One game that everybody's been waiting for, but the media wants to push that agenda that the Xbox is bad. And people in general, the gamers want that. You know what I mean? They want that game on PC. That way they can, play it on their shitty PCs at super low settings or whatever. You know what I mean?
They want to take a shot at Xbox. They say, "Oh, Quantum Break, that was the one game, the one and only game I wanted for my system, but now I don't got to get it."
Yeah.
It happens all the time. If you go any forum you go to, it's always the same thing. A game gets announced for PC or competition. It's like, well, now I don't have to get it on this system. That was the one game I was looking forward to.
Yeah. I saw that too. They were like, I wanted to get that, and then I wanted to get ReCore, but now ReCore is going to PC, and Quantum Break goes to. Oh man, damn it! I was gonna get. They had no damn intention of buying an Xbox One. It's
just a bunch of lies, just to hate on it.
Yeah, I mean, come on, that'd be like me going, "Hey, man, I really want to get that PS4 for Street Fighter 5 and No Man's Sky, but no, man, they put it on PC. Damn it, I really wanted to get that PS4."
And then they were like, "Oh wait, I just want a way to pirate the game. Please."
Yeah, exactly.
And now I have to play that game in 4K. Damn it.
Well, because we all know every PC gamer in the world. Every PC gamer in the world has a 4K rig, and they got solid state drives, and they buy all their games brand new, right? They never,
they have a 4K rig, but they run their games in 720p.
Yeah, because they want. What's funny was there's so much misconception.
They don't want to push it,
Yeah, well, there's so much misconception about this stuff, right? Like the other day, somebody was like, "Yeah," well, and I had mentioned that I was reading an article about Rise of the Tomb Raider on PC, and that you need quite an expensive card to run it at 60 frames per second. Like those that thought the PS4 version was going to run this game at 60 frames per second, it's not. Right, because the card that you need to run this on a PC is more expensive. Like everything involved is more expensive than a PS4, Xbox One, and a Wii U combined. Right, I mean, even those are having trouble with that. Right, so basically, every place tried to shit on the Xbox One version of this. Now that the PC version comes out, and they're almost identical. right? They're almost identical.
Yeah,
you know.
I saw that on Digital Foundry when I saw like the difference between the PC and the X1 version, and even Digital
Wait, you
Foundry
went to
had to
Digital
say,
Foundry? I'm sorry.
yeah, well, I like to see what they're saying. It's not, I don't necessarily feed into.
I avoid that place
bullshit.
like the plague, almost
But they actually
like
had to say,
NeoGaf.
well,
I
like
can't
the
stand those
X1
places.
version is pretty
all
much
you need,
is like
all you need-
the PC version on high settings, but minus this and that or whatever. But when you looked at the side-by-side comparison, besides a little extra like bump on the ground that's a little bit taller and stuff like that, and
Yeah.
maybe some things in the the draw distance in the background. Other than that, like they had to actually give them props without actually, applauding them for it. They were like,
Yeah.
well, the X1 version, it is like the PC version on high settings, but then they had to throw in that but there. You know what I'm saying? But
Hey,
gorgeous
here's the real funny thing, right? Like I was saying, like some PC dude was arguing with me because I had said something like it cost at least $1,000 to play this game on a PC at 1080p 60 frames per second, and I said you can get an Xbox One for $300. So I was like, save your $700, you know what I mean? And he's like, well, the $700 gets you 1080p and 60 frames per second instead of 720p 30. I says, bro. It's 1080p on Xbox One too. Like mind fucking blown right there, right? I mean, you can get a 1080p 30 frames per second on an adventure game that doesn't need 60 frames per second for $299. So fucking sign me up. You'd be a fucking moron to want to spend $1,000 to get 30 extra frames per second on an adventure game. You know what I mean? Get out of here. Come on with that shit.
Yeah, okay.
Mooch, where you at, Mooch? Come on.
Here, man. I'm actually, you know what I'm doing? I'm actually crowd controlling.
Mooch
There's
is playing
something
Division right now.
YouTube, yeah, right. No, YouTube is having a hard time tonight. It's the show is
is.
going on, but it's just everyone's having a hard time. I don't know. Maybe they're broadcasting me at 1440p. Because
Well,
to be
I
honest
tell
with
them
you-
lower the res. Like that's what I had to do. Like when I had it at like 480 and 720 because I'm watching the stream, I'm in the chat box too.
Right.
It just buffers. Like so, I lowered it to 360p, which is what the Xbox One resolution is for every game. And it's been
All
fine.
about them peas, yo.
You know, I'll tell you right now, it's just, it kills me because, like, literally, so Crap did a show one time. This was about 2 months ago, and I did one, and it was the only time I think in YouTube's history in the past 3 years it shit the bed, and we had to wait 3 or 4 days to actually get our broadcast. Actually, thank God YouTube actually was able to re-render it and send it back out, so we were able to put it out live again. But, like, to be honest with you, another night, of course, Friday nights are just a bad night, apparently, for live streams. But, no, getting back to getting on course here, I do want to bring up another subject, and this is kind of a big deal. I'm going to give a slogan here for you guys that made news, but I want to add something that nobody else kind of got into. It was breaking news that EA will not be at E3. Now, they'll be doing something, but they won't have they won't have their floor booths open to the public or something of that nature. And my question with this is, let's talk about that, but now with Microsoft having their own show and Sony has their own show with PSX, is E3 going to be going by the way of the dodo bird? Are we not going to be using E3 anymore for this, and we're just going to wait for each person to put their own individual show on? We know Apple does that. Apple doesn't appear at E3. They do their own show twice a year. What do you guys think with that? I mean, what about EA not really being there?
I think it sucks. I think it sucks because you already have Nintendo that doesn't do a traditional E3 show.
There you go.
Yep. So now I actually look forward to E3s because it was a nice in between after Microsoft's show. So.
Right.
Well, you know what? EA is actually going to have their own little. I don't know what exactly they're calling it, but there's like some kind of Let's Play from the
Wait,
12th to the
trademarked by
14th.
Sony.
So they're putting. No, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting
It's called
conflicted
EA,
because
it's called
we were
EA
talking about
Play.
earlier.
It's like 2 days before.
Okay, so yeah, so it's not Let's Play.
Yeah. So.
Okay, yeah, so they are putting something else on for themselves. I didn't realize they weren't going to be that big in the E3 though.
Well, it's because of their game lineup essentially. All right. So my theory on all this, right? Like, so when you look at last year, and Bethesda did their conference, right? Because they had the biggest game coming out. They had Fallout 4. They wanted Fallout 4 to dominate headlines. As you can tell, this year they don't have one because they don't have any games coming out, right?
Right.
Okay. So EA is doing this because they have 3 huge blowouts. They're going to be unveiling Titanfall 2. They're going to be unveiling Battlefield 5.
Well,
they're going to
the
be
new
unveiling
Battlefield, yeah.
Mass Effect, right? And conjunction this in with the fact that Nintendo's actually, like, this isn't confirmed, but I have a feeling Nintendo's going to be there, stage presence, revealing new hardware, right? So they're going to reveal the NX, right?
You think they'll actually go instead of just doing
they'll be there. They'll be there because they have to be, because they have to get the NX has to be relevant, right? It's not going to be relevant. It's on a direct. So I mean, this goes to my theory of why EA is doing this, because EA knows that the second Nintendo shows new Zelda, new Metroid, they're even talking about new Smash Brothers, all launch games, right? At E3, Nintendo talks new hardware, it's going to dominate the headlines. Nobody's going to be talking about whatever Microsoft does. Nobody's going to be talking about whatever Sony does. It'll just be completely dominated by Nintendo.
No, I disagree. People will still talk about what Sony does because they'll pull out the heartstrings and give everybody the little thing. Here's some more Last Guardian footage. Sorry, it's not coming this year like we promised. But hey, here's some more footage. This time the little rat's moving to the other end of the
waiting for greatness.
Yeah, we're running it backwards this time, that footage.
I mean, they won't, but I'm saying the general consensus will be Nintendo showing new hardware. Look at all this stuff. All the other news is secondary. So EA wants to get out ahead of that.
Rand, I'll tell you something. You know what? In one way, you kind of saved everything for me. I like your rationale. So last year and in the prior years, Nintendo hasn't had a lot. They didn't show up. Now we know Nintendo's going to make a stage presence. I do agree with you. They have hardware to show. They're going to want people to put their hands on it. And you know what? If EA doesn't really have anything that big to show for 2016, why would they waste all their effort? Show up in 2017 and be like, boom, this is what's coming out. And look at Bethesda kind of started. They raised the bar. They came in E3 and they're like, you're getting this in the fall with Fallout 4, right? So EA's probably like, we can go there next summer and be like, you're getting Battlefield, Titanfall, and another game you just mentioned there, Mass Effect, all at the end of 2017. So I mean, this kind of makes sense.
Did you guys catch this though? Like, they might show Titanfall at E3 this year because they said it's going to come before the end of the fiscal year.
It's coming out early 2017.
Yeah, so it's going to be, so they would have to show it this year.
Yeah, that's true.
It's probably going to be a March game. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
I think that's a perfect time for it.
Yeah, so they have to show it this year.
That's why EA wants to get ahead of the Nintendo news.
Yeah.
So they can at least.
Plus, get ready for all the haters because it's going to be multi-platform. So everybody's going to be like, "Oh man, you guys lose another one." You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, I can hardly wait for that.
Yeah. It's just EA wants the headlines for 2 days before the headlines are dominated by the NX.
Hey, but look,
the NX and all that.
But EA, I think they would have done fine by doing their normal thing because guess what? They're showing off Mirror's Edge, the new Mass Effect, Battlefield 5.
Well, Mirror's Edge will be out by then.
Battlefront. No, will it? No, it got delayed.
It comes out May 23rd.
Oh, okay. They're going to show off some new Battlefront stuff. Yep. EA is working on a couple new Star Wars games. Maybe they show off one of those.
The Amy Hennig game.
There's that one, but there's also. Did you guys hear that? Respawn is working on a third-person action adventure game, and they hired Stig Ox, that Stig guy who worked on the God of War games, right?
Sony canceled his game.
Yeah, Sony canceled. Yeah. See, I'm in the know. People act like I don't know shit. I know all kinds of shit. That's right.
You know, crap, I'll tell you, though, Respawn doing that, as exciting as I am.
Wikipedia right now.
They're talented people. They're talented.
I'm Googling. I'm Binging because I'm too Microsoft to Google, so I'm using Bing.
Isn't Respawn only like 25 to 50 people strong, though?
I think there's like 30 to 50.
No, they have a big. No, they have a big studio.
Did they hire?
They weren't. They must have hired then. Because
Remedy, did you guys know Remedy Entertainment is on a hiring spree?
Yeah, they're hiring for a new game.
Yeah.
Alan Wake 2, please.
We'll see you in 6 years.
That's all but certain at this point, Rand. Right? I mean, come on. How many times are they going to bring it up? They even nudge, and there's an Alan. There's an Alan Wake reference.
I don't know, but if Quantum Break is successful, I would assume Microsoft would want Quantum Break 2, not necessarily Alan Wake 2, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. It depends if they're on a hiring though extravaganza.
Unless they're hiring to go into production on Alan Wake 2, and then as that finishes up, they do Quantum Break 2. I mean, who knows?
Well, because essentially Quantum Break's already done right now, so maybe they're already in production of Alan Wake 2.
Well, what it like that raises a good point. Like, okay, look, Microsoft owns the. Here's the situation. Microsoft owns the publishing rights for another Alan Wake game. Microsoft also completely owns the Quantum Break IP. I'm sure that they have high expectations for Quantum Break 1, and knowing how fucking slow Remedy is, wanted them to ramp up so that they can either make a sequel or an Alan Wake sequel. You know what I mean? Or maybe hiring to do both. I don't know, but I know probably Phil doesn't like the idea that he loves Remedy, I'm guessing, but they are super fucking slow.
Yeah. Well, he gives them their time. I mean, he gives them an empty check and he gives them an hourglass with no sand in it. You know, I mean, they can do whatever they want, and that's fine though. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest with you. I've always fallen in love with what they make. You can see that the dedication. You see when somebody who's a developer like Sam Lake, when he gets up on stage, he's grinding his hands together while he's talking to you. This is his baby. It's his creation. And, you know, this is the thing. I'm glad the Division's getting this beta. I'm glad the Division's getting the hype. I'm very glad Microsoft has the marketing deal. And I'm also very, very glad that we'll have a month of everybody kind of having their fill for the first chunk of DLC that comes out with the Division, because everybody that owns an Xbox One, if you don't buy Quantum Break, there's seriously something wrong with you. And I'm not talking about just going out there and throwing $60 at Redmond. You know, that's not the point I'm trying to make.
I'll do that. I'm going to go right up to Redmond and throw $60 at him.
I can see you doing that Larry Flint style with just a big, huge black bag full of ones. Listen, you know, the thing is literally, I just think that, like, this is something where Microsoft has put their best foot forward. They put their money where their mouth is. And now it's up to the consumer to actually go out there and help them out in the fact of backing up these types of titles. I don't just want a console to come out in 2019 or 2020 and all we have is third-party games. There's nothing wrong with third-party games, but I don't know. I mean, there's just something about having the exclusives that gives you that fulfilling feeling. Like, you know, I mean, Xbox, you talk about it all the time, man. You always have as your background the Halo games. And Halo is such a... You know, man, it's not just a game. It's something that people have grown up with. It's a game that's gotten people to turn to a console. It's also made some money. But I mean, like, you know, isn't it? I mean, what do you feel like? A lot of times they hear me and Crap always say the same thing. But Xbox, what about you? What do you think about exclusives versus just what Sony's doing this generation, going with third party?
I think with exclusives, I know Halo, I grew up with Halo. The first time I played the first Halo and saw how huge, like, the environment was. It was something I never saw before. And then to get into the sci-fi story that was layers and layers. It was really deep. The universe is absolutely huge. I mean, they make the books and everything about it. I was hooked instantly. When it comes to exclusives, all right, who knows the hardware better than the people that made it? All right, so therefore, the first-party studios, I want to see what they do with their hardware. I want to see, because they're under that well, in this case Microsoft. They're under that Microsoft umbrella. They know the shortcuts. They know, like, the new API and stuff like that. They get all this stuff ahead of time, and they can truly show you what your system can do. Where a lot of third parties that, you know, if they come out with the multi-plats and stuff like that, they're basically trying to make a game that'll skate across multiple pieces of hardware.
My argument, Xbox, I just want to throw this in there because you made a hell of a point. They can really massage the software a certain way. My only thing that I have a problem with is everybody knows, all right, we've all worked on projects at our jobs, respectively. I don't care where you work. There's always been a project, and it's all planned out. The Xbox One was definitely talked about for many, many years before we even heard about it. Why do we have to wait until the middle of the console generation to see Crackdown in the cloud? Why can't we see this stuff a little bit sooner? That's the only thing I'm hoping with the next generation. Now that we've gotten all this x86 architecture under our belt, we know what's going on. Windows 10 is here for at least this generation and next. Can we please, for the love of God, after 6 to 12 months of having the new consoles, can we get a taste of what the true power that you design your box to do? And that goes for Sony, and it goes for Microsoft. Microsoft has got such tremendous potential between DX12, Windows 10, the cloud. But yet, here we are, it's 2016. It's going to be almost the end of 2016 before we even get a beta and Crackdown, before we get to sample some of this. And as we can see with, you know, the glorious sales numbers, it's already hurt Microsoft. If all this was out there for day one, things may be very different right now.
Well, you know what I'm looking for mostly, the most about Quantum Break is with months after it released, and they didn't release any sales numbers, then everyone on Twitter will tell me that it didn't sell anything.
Absolutely. Just like Rise of the Tomb Raider. And you know what? I got to thank Dreyer for the lead-in, because one of the subjects I want to talk about tonight, and one of our last ones, is Rise of the Tomb Raider released on PC this week, and in 24 hours it got more praise and press on the PC than it did in 3 months on the Xbox One. Thank you, Unbiased Media. Thank you.
Yeah.
They're not biased. They love Xbox. So I mean, did you guys notice the press and the coverage and the comparison videos that came out? It was almost like they were all pre-recorded and they just hit send.
Oh, you know what? I had to ask IGN yesterday. I tweeted them. I was like, "Are you guys going to cover the Division on Xbox at all?"
Great.
And they fucking sent me back a snarky ass GIF or whatever, right? I'm like, okay, you assholes, get your crack team off their asses and start covering this thing. You know?
You could tell IGN crap when you sent that out. That was what really was the straw that broke the camel's back. He sent it out. They sent them back this snarky GIF, like he says. But what I found really funny was, this is supposed to be some like really big powerhouse in the gaming media, and they then that ridiculousness to you. That just
you
shows
touch a nerve. That's what happens. Like that's what happened with Boogie. That's why he responded. I touched a nerve. He knows I'm right, right? He knows that I'm right about that whole situation, but he can't say shit. He can't.
Right.
You know what I mean?
No, but IGN will cover Rocket League or The Witness for the next 3 months while the Division launches.
Exactly. They will cover anything up they can to keep Microsoft from getting big and getting their clout out. It really is something.
It was funny because when you say that, dude, my Twitter feed, because I got like a bunch of gaming groups and stuff like that, semi-journalists or whatever. All I saw was like streams for Rise of Tomb Raider, being streamed and stuff like that. It really, the Twitter feed just blew up with, hey, look at this.
Yep.
And I've seen it since I got it on my X1. And like I said, there's not a huge difference between the games.
Not at all.
I did notice when I was on Twitch yesterday, or when the game came out, that it was like high up in the directory, like all the streams of Tomb Raider, more than it was when it launched on the Xbox One. But you know what I'm already going to say, Mooch, right?
I can't wait to hear it, Rand.
Well, I mean, I've said it before. We've talked about this at length. Like, the Tomb Raider's potential was...
here we go.
I'm telling you, it's the truth. You know it's the truth.
Here it comes.
Was dampened by Fallout 4 is the simple fact.
Oh, God.
I say it every single time. I'm going to say it every time, and it's the truth. Fallout 4 was the biggest game last year. When 2 games like that come out on the same day, Fallout 4 is going to get... If it's not Grand Theft Auto 5, Fallout 4 is going to win and getting one being streamed everywhere. That's just the way it is.
Listen, I know that Fallout 4 has a huge following. I get that. But it didn't help that you have this huge following.
I tried to tell you guys this before it came out. Remember, and you argued with me, Mooch. You're like, no, there's no way. It's not going to happen.
It's not a new IP. It's not a new IP. I mean, it's Rise of the Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider.
Well,
but you see what happened.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? And this is the thing. Look, Fallout looks like shit. Any videos you've seen on that game looks like a goddamn last-gen game. Tomb Raider looked like a fucking next-gen game. It looks beautiful. It's gorgeous. People should have been showing that shit off. I don't care if it comes out at the same time as 10 different great games. Fallout ended up being, everybody said it was disappointing.
But everybody said it was disappointing after the fact.
Yeah,
after they bought it.
The hype, like, I need to play this now.
Well, guys, if you think about it, with the Tomb Raider was rejuvenalized, right? It was reinvigorated with the Tomb Raider, like, kind of like before time. When it came to Fallout, Bethesda, and I'm gonna say this, I speak the truth. Bethesda strung this huge crowd of followers. You know what I'm saying? This huge Fallout crowd, strung them through so much time. Like, oh yeah, we got this another announcement, and it turned out to be a T-shirt. Oh yeah, we got this. Think Fallout on this next announcement. It just turned out to be some discount for something else, and they strung these people a lot. They made them hungry. You know what I'm saying? They're like foaming at the mouth for their next game. So when they announced it, and they announced it the same year like that it came out, you know what I'm saying? They announced it, they showed it, they built up the hype by keeping it away from their people, and then just threw it right there. So yeah, like it just gained that momentum and just surged forward. And then afterwards, a lot of people that bought it were like, it was okay, you know?
Yeah.
I'm just glad the game's getting more press. I don't care if it's on PC or on Xbox. I'm glad that game is still getting the spotlighted again because I want that game to do well because Crystal Dynamics deserve it because they made a good game.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
did, but I mean, it sucks
They
because
made a
it
hell of a
clearly
game,
shows.
but do you think it's gonna help? It's gonna help the Xbox One sales of it though.
No.
Because
Yes, of
everybody's
course it
talking about it
will.
on PC.
Well,
No.
you know what though? No,
Of course it will, yeah.
that's a good point. I think it can. Hey, look, what do they always say? Any press is good press, right? This is a game right now that, let's just say you said I'm passing on Rise of the Tomb Raider. All of a sudden, there you go again. Now you've got another 2 weeks of PC feed of it, and then you go to the store and you're like, hey, what can I get that on? They're like, well, the only thing I got it here for is PC and Xbox One. Okay, well, let me get it for
Yeah,
Xbox
exactly.
One. I mean, that's what I said. Now, Rand and South, when I did argue
So
with
it
you,
can't hurt then, basically what you're saying.
Right.
Yeah.
My argument was that they have it exclusive for 12 months. So it wasn't that big of a deal sales-wise that it did good out the gate. They don't need a gate window. And maybe 30% of PC users are going to buy it on Windows 10. Why? But you know what I mean? From the Windows 10 store. Like, they're going to make their money regardless on this. My point of the matter was just that I couldn't figure out how quote-unquote gamers, that's all I keep being told, well, I'm a gamer. I mean, the definition for gamer is almost an entire Webster's dictionary alone. You know how many people have an interpretation of that term. But, like, realistically, if you're a gamer, why didn't you pick up Tomb Raider and Fallout, right, if you're a Fallout guy? Like, I don't understand that. And, I mean, South, you're a Fallout guy, but you bought Tomb Raider.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean,
technically.
that's my point. Well, yeah, I'm a bad example. You know what I mean? You had it day one. My point. How it got to your hands is a whole other story, but that's not the point. You know, I mean, like, you know, but and that's the thing I don't understand. And crap, you were alluding to this a few minutes ago. Is just that, like, who gives a shit if the game that you like and want comes out on another day that a game that you like and want comes out? I don't understand that. Like, that happens all the time in video games. And I never realized that Fallout 4 was, like, the say-all, end-all. Like, I don't know. It didn't affect the sales of...
I tried to warn you, Mooch. I told you it was going to be huge. I told you. What did it do, 12 million first week?
Yeah, but wasn't like
It was
8...
20
Across three
hours.
platforms. Across
Yeah.
three platforms. Come on.
PC bought most of that, Sal.
Well, yeah, but still. Yeah,
And there you
it
go.
was me.
PC, that's the only game PC bought. Congratulations, PC. Thanks. Stand up. Stand up and light a match, everybody. Stand up and light a match. Listen, like, you know, they bought one game, but, like, I don't know why that was such a heartache for everyone. And I don't know. Listen, Phil said it. Phil came out and said it. And South, I think you even talked to him about it. Like, literally, they didn't plan on it to come out that day, but they didn't want to push it to the right anymore.
No, they didn't.
And that was just, that was it. And Microsoft knew. They did their analytics. They realized for 12 months, we need to make whatever X was. Now, myself personally, I think X is 3 million or 2.5 million. And they're like, listen, if we just figure that they come out the gate and we do this, and then you have the other 11 months with Christmas involved too, and then a push with the PC, there's going to be bigger sales push for that game this month with PC release too on for Xbox One. So, I mean, all in all, it's just, but you guys, this is what I was just saying, you got to say it again. The media was behind Fallout because the media's with Sony. Sony didn't have Rise of the Tomb Raider, so by default, the media went Fallout. They did so many Let's Plays of Fallout. I was disgusted.
I don't think that's entirely accurate.
I'm going to the grave with that.
Fallout is just. No, it's well documented how much you're in tune with this media bias, and you know what? You're not really far off because there is bias, but I don't think it helped Fallout. Fallout is just a fucking juggernaut, and it was gonna do great regardless of when it came out, who it went out against.
It's not fair for
and no matter what the media said.
Right. Now, it wasn't the media that did it all, but I'm just going to say, let's say 12 million. The media insured 4 extra million out of that 12. You know, I mean, they just kind of really pushed it down everybody's throat.
Like I said, I think a lot of it was Bethesda knowing the group of their consumers. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They strung them along. They made them hungry. They made them thirsty. And then when they did reveal it, they've set a date for that same year. They didn't string them along another 2 or 3 years. They know they did that long enough, and it just created such a hype wave. They were talking to their friends and stuff like that, and because they were so excited for it. Trust me, I know I have like Fallout fanatical friends, and they were like trying to get me to buy it. I'm not a big like Fallout guy. My son has it. I haven't put it in and downloaded it in my system yet, but eventually I will. I'll go through the story and stuff. But like my friends were trying to convince me I needed this game, and there are people out there that when they're getting talked about that they need this game, there are people that will be like, well, all right, well I guess I'll get this game. And it was. Well,
Fallout has a tremendous like word of mouth. You know what I mean? When you say, "Man, Fallout 4 is just crazy good," and you're like, "Well, you know what? Maybe I'll go to GameStop or Walmart or what have you, Best Buy, and go buy it."
Yeah, and like I said, that base was just strung out so long that once they heard it was coming out, they went crazy.
Well, basically, basically you have the marketing push for PlayStation wrapped up there. You explained how the PlayStation got so popular.
That's all Apple ideology right there. Like, I compare the PlayStation 4 to like Apple and iPhones like all the time.
Yeah, it's like you have to get this.
No, I don't.
There's no reason for it. Just you have to get it. It's amazing.
Yeah, I mean the only difference, and don't get me wrong, I respect where you guys. Now you guys know I'm on record also. I am an Apple fan, but here's my thing. The thing with Apple is that they also, when you go to their app store, they've got every app. Like pretty much everything in the world is in there, and most stores are, not that stores are not with Google and all that other stuff, but Microsoft. But Microsoft Store is a little bit weaker in that category. What I don't understand in the Sony, the PS4 to Xbox One comparison is that Xbox has got all the multi-plats, way more AAA exclusives that, let's just put it this way, that North America and the UK care about. I'm sure Asia doesn't care about our shooters as much. But, I mean, you're getting more with the Xbox One, plus features, plus every month updates, et cetera, backwards compatibility, the list goes on and on. With Sony, you're just getting I don't even have a comeback here. Sony, you're getting multi-plats and occasionally a shitty niche AAA like Bloodborne that, of course, the media backed up, pushed forward, and none of us, listen, you ask anybody, any of your friends that has a PS4, ask them. Ask 10 of your PS4 buddies how many of them had Bloodborne. If you get 2 out of 10, you're actually in the majority. Nobody has that game. Nobody cared. They got their 2 million over in Asia. Nobody likes that game here. Nobody talks about Dark Souls 2. Who the hell is even talking about? Microsoft has the rights to Dark Souls 3. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody cares.
Nobody's gonna buy that.
No one's gonna buy that.
Budget soft. That's all that was. Hey, let's lock up a let's lock up marketing right for this shitty game that nobody in North America is gonna buy on our platform anyway. Because that sounds like a great idea, right? I mean, let's be honest. That was probably a Phil Spencer deal. Like, if you look at it, I think Microsoft had the marketing rights for the Division like years ago. Who knows if that might have been pre-Phil Spencer, because they've been talking up the Division at E3 since when? 2013, 2014?
Right.
Yeah.
Are you sure that Dark Souls 3's Microsoft has that?
Yep, they showed it off at E3, and they showed the
Microsoft Xbox does have the it does.
Yeah, they do. And I mean, the whole point of the matter is, who cares? Nobody cares.
I don't give a shit. I don't like those games. They're terrible. Who the hell likes a game because it's hard? Hey, I like this game because it's hard.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's but whenever
I died 50,000 times in the first 5 minutes.
Whenever I ask them, like, why do you like
fun.
these Dark Souls games? Oh, because it's hard. I'm like, okay, that fucking makes sense, right? I mean, these games look like shit. They're not graphically impressive. They have frame rate problems, but guess what? They're hard, so I guess they're good.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It is ridiculous. And I mean, like I said, and that's the whole thing. So Bloodborne was so great. It was so great. But what has anybody had to play on PlayStation besides Bloodborne? Somebody actually yelled out Until You Won. Soccer Cars and Until You Won.
Every night on PS4, Mooch.
Yeah, right. I mean, listen, this is a sidebar thing. But like, you guys realize how many people on Twitter hit me up and asked me to please buy Soccer Cars and do Twitch. They want me to Twitch that every night, almost like it's a fucking sitcom. They want me to do this because I can't stand. And honestly, as much as I want to make everybody happy on the channel, I hate that fucking game. That game is, I despise it. Do I like? No, and let me clarify this because South made a good point a week or two ago. This is not towards the developers. All they did was land in a huge pile of shit with money. They landed in it hard because they went exclusive at the right time on a console that had no games, and they struck pay dirt. But like literally, the obsession with this game is beyond belief. It is beyond belief. It's won awards that it shouldn't have. It's been in categories for awards it shouldn't have, and now it's coming over to Xbox One. I know it's not going to be free, but damn, that's bullshit.
Come on, Mooch. You gotta stream it, bro. I'll even buy it for you if we can stream it.
Some people know who I'm talking about, but Jeremy, who's listening to the show, he's very good friends with Rand and South. He's on the TXR podcast.
Was the Downer?
Yeah, the Downer. He literally DM'd me. He goes, if you don't fucking buy that game, I'm buying it for you, and I don't give a shit what you say. I said, now, Jeremy, you don't have to do that, man. I said, that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm not trying to get my friends.
I bet you have people lined by that game for you just to fucking prove you wrong.
No, absolutely. Well, that's the thing. The minute I do that, there's going to be like 3 videos on Exposed. But it's like the whole point of the matter
I'm
is
going to do my first Exposed video on Mooch. Like,
what else is new?
Can't wait to see the views, crap.
Yeah, it's going to be big. We have Mooch Exposed, bitch playing soccer cars.
No, but you have to do this ironic thing where you play the game and you pretend that you love it. Like you just have all these compliments about it.
Just do it ironically, right?
Who's gonna hand me the Academy Award?
Come on, they're getting the exclusive Xbox content in it. They're gonna have a warthog in it. You gotta support that.
This
Sunset
is
Overdrive.
Yeah, I was just gonna say Fizzy's in it.
Overdrive, Fizzy.
My God,
Yeah.
So I want to ask you guys this. So speaking of Fizzy, you guys saw Insomniac debuted their new game, right, with the trailer?
Deep Long Song or the Deep Song?
You mean that's getting published by
Yeah,
GameStop?
those are my questions. What do you think of GameStop as being a games publisher?
I think that's a good idea for them to get some more revenue.
Yeah, they're hurt. They need to find a way.
Well, they're double fisting what they're doing.
They sell so many games now. They can make money out of that. Well, more money.
So it's gonna never be sold digitally too, right? From what I heard. That's only going to be sold physically?
How can that?
No, it's
it'll be
digitally.
digitally. No. It'll be on the digital. Yeah.
Yeah, it's only being sold
PS4,
physical.
Xbox, and PC.
Physical at GameStop, was that?
Yeah, it's only physical at GameStop, but it's going to be digital on Xbox One and PS4.
So do you think this is like a test case for eventual scenario where they fund a AAA game at some point?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Dude, can GameStop afford that?
Well, I'm just saying. I mean, I don't know. It seems like to me like the profit margins on a $15 game like this is small. I mean, I don't know. I don't
It's
really.
a nice gamble.
Well,
I'm buying the physical
It comes in Insomniac.
Yeah, but I just don't see like.
Yeah, we know you're physical.
Hell
I
yeah.
mentioned it earlier, Mooch, about
buy the
like
physical
everything.
copy and then trade it in.
Yeah. Well, listen, think about it though, guys. What are we talking about here? This game is not going to be more than 8 hours. It's just a 2D scroller.
We need to Photoshop crap and Olivia Newton-John. Let's get physical.
Crap. By the way, that was very good, Sal. And someone's going to do that right now. But literally. But crap. Did you buy Ground Zeroes physical?
Wait. Some Ground Zeroes.
Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes. The 15-minute demo.
I did buy it physical, and then they also gave it as games with gold.
Right,
so I never took it out of the package.
I guess my point is I just have a hard time, even if with a reduced price, buying something that's going to be less like 6 hours, 8 hours on a disc.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right? The order was like that.
I think it's going to be a collector's item, to be honest with you. The first GameStop published thing, and I don't know. I just think as a collector, I think that's kind of cool.
Good idea. Good point.
Yeah, sometimes you see these games that have collector's editions or rare games that were like, like, oh wow, that's only at GameStop or whatever. You see those in collections all the time. Like, hey, you can only I was watching Angry Video Game Nerd. He does Let's Plays on Mondays, right? And they were playing this Flintstones game that was only available at Blockbuster, and it's very expensive now. You know what I mean? It was like a Blockbuster video exclusive. So yeah. I'm buying
You know,
it physically.
There's people on Twitter DMing me, and literally, I won't mention names here. Yes, buy that game for Mooch. If we convince Mooch to play, I'll sponsor a Mooch giveaway with some Xbox credit. I mean, this is all coming back. I'm telling you, I get it all day
People
long.
are dying. They want you to play soccer cars.
Well, you know what's funny, and look, I thought I was one of the first people to coin that, and South went to the Video Game Awards, and South has known me for a while. South was sitting at the Video Game Awards live, and when they said Rocket League, and someone started screaming soccer cars, Southbound tweets me, he's like, fucking Mooch. Oh, shit. So,
Yeah, there's literally people right in front of me in a couple rows of front, and I heard soccer cars, and I said, fucking Mooch.
he tweets me right away. I said, holy shit. I said, you know, the internet has made everything such a small world. You know, listen, here's what I want to do tonight, guys. Because I'm getting so much information from our followers and the live stream, there was a hiccup. I had a hiccup on my end, which lasted about 4 or 5 minutes, but then everything seemed fine on our end. I'm not sure if the video, I hope it renders fine for everybody to hear later because everyone had a bit of a hard time. I want to thank everybody who actually tuned in tonight because that's a bummer. You know, it's a bummer because there's not much I can really do. It's out of my hands. I'll try and make sure that I will watch portions of this tonight and scroll through it and make sure everything comes through nice and clear, see what I can do. But I want to go through the panel and take a minute here. Start with my buddy Crap. Crap, do you have any plugs you want to plug while you're here?
Yeah, come check out my channel, man. It's compelling shit. So.
It definitely is. That's for damn sure.
Yeah.
How about?
And, you got BGST Sunday.
BGST Sunday on the Mooch's channel, which hopefully we don't have any glitches or YouTube errors.
Dude, I hate that shit, man.
It really sucks. You know, we work really hard to put this together.
You know what? Welcome to my life. That's how I've been for a month. Everything's glitching, fucking pauses and buffering. Going nuts.
You know what? Well, if it makes you feel better, South, look at over here. I've got great internet, and still shit goes wrong. So I mean, you know, South, do you want to plug anything? I mean, I was on. South invited me to his podcast TXR earlier this week. It was awesome, man. It was great being on there. How about a plug, South?
Well, you just did it for us.
Yeah, but I like hearing it from the man.
Monday nights. Monday nights. We actually do it kind of late. You know, I know you're like, can we do it earlier, please? I'm dying over here. He's like, Mooch is like, I can't even play no games. I'm just sitting there watching TV. He's like, I don't even watch fucking TVs. I'm just waiting for you to start your podcast. So. Yeah. we go on kind of late, the East Coast. It's like 10:30, 11 o'clock, and because I live on the West Coast, so we try to do it about 7:30, you know, my time. But you know, for a lot of people, it's hard to catch it. So we lose out on a lot of viewers and potential, you know, listeners. But you know, I mean, at the end of the day, it's really not about, you know, subs and all that shit for us. It's just kind of to get on and talk and bullshit with each other.
Well, I like to think of it as, you know, we do this show here, and it's like New York when the ball drops at New Year's, and someone's got to be over on the West Coast to represent at midnight, right, buddy?
Exactly. And contrary to what you always say, we're not all fucking weird hipsters and, you know, drink lattes with our fingers out. You know what I mean?
Yo, South, that does not go to you or the people of L.A. That's pretty much San Fran and North. Yeah, I'm not.
Oh, definitely. It's like two different countries. It might as well be.
It really is. I mean, I've visited California at least a half dozen times, and I've been literally 3 to the south side and 3 to the north side, and it's day and night. It really is. But, you know, a lot of people say that about New York, too, in all fairness. There's the city. I think the city and the city attitude goes from, you know, what you're familiar with seeing with New York City all the way up to Albany. Once you go up past Albany, you really start to get into a bit of the sticks. But New Yorkers all talk so fast anyways. That's why we confuse everybody no matter where we live. Dreyer, how about you, Dreyer?
You talk with your hands, too.
Oh my God! Yeah, I usually slap people while I'm talking. Dreyer, Dreyer, what about you, buddy? You've had so many tweets out and a couple of good articles. How about a plug?
Yeah, well, you can check out my articles on ticgn.com. Respond to my favorite troll. It's over, and he writes on everything that I post. And yeah, you can just check out my Twitter. It's my name _Smith.
I tell you, if you do, you really should subscribe.
Just link it to under the video. people will
I
find
will
it
actually.
there.
I will do that. You got to hear him, man. You are good at chiming in on the big news, and you do go after people, Dryer. That's why, in all honesty, I'd never met Dryer before we started doing Crossfire, but the man is one of the most insightful and funny. He goes after people on Twitter, so I will link you in the description. He's definitely worth following. Bringing me to my next up and coming Xbot. Listen, I'm hoping you start a podcast real soon and invite me on because, I myself personally, you mentioned it earlier. I'll reiterate it again. Podcasting is a way to really, truly get your true feelings out. You hear it live. Sometimes the words don't come out right, but you know what it does? It's coming from the heart, comes from the gut. So how about a plug for your channel and what you're inspiring to do coming up? Because that's why you wanted to come on and say hi to everybody.
Well, yeah, I do have some really big things coming up. First of all, definitely check out my channel, Xbot448. I got a pretty extensive DirectX 12 playlist. I've done Forza car vinyl designs. I play a lot of Halo, and I do the gaming news. Put that common sense back into the gaming news. Not only that, I am a part of a group called hardknockgamers.com. We have our website. Definitely check out our website. We have articles, videos. We're actually doing a giveaway right now. We're giving away a copy of the Division when it comes out. So definitely go in, register. Check out what we have to offer there. In terms of podcasts, early February, I've been deemed as the host for the official Hard Knock Gamers podcast. So I'm going to start that first or second week of February. So definitely, be on the lookout for that. That's going to be on my channel. And
Nice.
Then
Congratulations.
a couple months down the line, I want to do my own personal podcast. So I'm looking into doing 2 podcasts per week. So I'm going to be a busy guy, but I want.
Who are you, the Mooch all of a sudden?
I want to do one. The official one represents the group. Okay, represents the gamers and Hard Knock Gamers. And, I want to give that justice. I want to give that a spotlight. And then I want to have a podcast that is strictly Xbot flavored. It's what I am. I want it to represent me and my loyal subscribers. I don't have a big subscriber base, but these guys are absolutely loyal. I love you guys. Windy City Gaming, I got to give a shout out to him. This guy has been supporting me like crazy lately on Twitter, Facebook, stuff like that.
He's a good dude.
Big shout out to that guy.
He's been tweeting me as well a lot.
Yeah,
so.
awesome guy. I mean, I really appreciate it. I do this for my subscribers.
Yeah. No, Windy City actually. Me and him got some interesting, fun history. If he's listening, he's laughing right now. Me and him had we were on the same side. We had one discussion one time, and then we got back together. It's like family. So shout out to Windy City. He's a big fan of all of ours, and we appreciate your support. And Rand, give us the latest update. I like this. I think people will just tune in to find out how close Rand is to the. Oh, Rand left.
Randall dropped.
Oh,
yeah,
Rand.
Randall dropped.
Oh.
He must be having internet problems.
I didn't even see Rand go. Damn.
Yeah, well, I would like to start a YouTube channel, but when I try to upload anything, the internet drops for a 3-block radius, so that's not a good idea.
Wow.
Really?
Welcome to my world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the upload speed is like less than 1 megabyte per second. So.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Oh, yeah, I'm used to that.
We all learned something. South Africa,
I got
and West
56K.
Virginia. Yeah, West Virginia and South Africa got something in common. Well, listen, guys, we're going to do this again next week, 6 p.m. Hopefully YouTube works with us next week a little better than they did tonight. I want to thank everybody again for coming out and spending their Friday night. Go out, game. Check out the beta, the Division, Xbox One marketing rights. Give them a shot. I think this is going to be Xbox's destiny. So if you like it, give them a shot, and we'll see you guys next week. Thank you very much. Good night.
Yeah.